Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. We're doing another SBR stage in the new batch. We're doing all out struggle. I've kind of stopped doing these in order, as you can see. Purely just because I feel like all out struggle potentially might be one of the easiest ones to do. That immediately might come back to bite me, but here's why I think, is there not? To be fair, I could. Where'd it go? Excuse. I could run this as a friend. Oh, or do I run Jeets? I could run Jeets as a friend instead. Oh, these ones got 3 dupes as well. How much is all that struggle given? 150. And how much did Jeets give on reps? 170. Well, I mean, as you can see, I've gone for a full reps team. I mean, there's some good units. There's not many, to be fair. Literally, there's barely any units on this team in general. But for the most part, you can put together a reps team. So if you don't have, in fact, I say don't have, you actually can only run a full reps team if you also have the leader for this team that goes on all out struggle. You can actually put together a full reps team. So instead of actually running these two, the blue boys as leader, I'm going to run the Goku and Frieza as leader, then just run a full reps team. It might not be the best full reps team, but it's definitely not a bad one. Especially for the fact that I've got a Vegeta friend. We're running two Jeets. Mine is, of course, level 10 links, which is going to be quite helpful. Goku and Frieza, by the way. The solid support link, it's a struggle. It's getting there. Like, it really is. Excuse me. It is getting there. Like, it's finally up to level 9 now, as of today. But I don't think this team will be too bad. I think this is probably the easiest one. Probably out of the lot to potentially complete, just because of how good the units are. But then immediately that could come back to bite me, and I could instantly be wrong. Like, I could obviously be wrong with this, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Oh, we're definitely gonna give you all of those, and then we're gonna give Roshi. We'll just give Roshi that. But yeah, in terms of the all-out struggle team, I mean, you don't have many options, so you're kind of stuck when it comes to making this team. Like, you can run a full reps team with a full all-out struggle team, just because there's so many all-out struggle units. Well, specifically, there is 7. So, I mean, or 6, and then including the friend. So you can actually make a full reps team, but you do actually need the all-out struggle leader, which is, of course, the blue boys. But if you do have the possibility to make a full reps team, you know, and you do have blue boys, your best bet is probably just actually swapping the leader and running Goku and Frieza as the lead, and then taking potentially a Vegeta friend, maybe 2 Goku and Frieza, or a Goku and Frieza friend as well if you want. But in terms of the team, there's not many options. I mean, you could take obviously the AGL Gohan, and then like one of the LR Gohans to go with him, who could work really well. I mean, in terms of what you saw, that there's not really many in terms of options, if I'm being completely honest. Oh, you know we're running my boy as rotation right now. We've got my boy on rotation. Like, Jeets for the most part, or specifically the SSBE Jeets, is gonna be your guy for this. Just because, I mean, one, you've got the tanking capabilities, which you do kind of need to build up every rotation, which again, it's one of the only things that kind of lets him down compared to UI Goku, and then of course the dodge, etc. But, you know, having to build up his damage reduction every turn. But even then, he tanked really well. You've got the built-in additional, you've got the built-in crit, which if you do get the additional off, you're going to be getting the guaranteed crit anyway. You take a friend Jeet with you, then in this case, this one has 3 dupes, which means he's additioning galore, along with getting potential crits and the built-in crit he gets anyway. So, I mean, taking a Vegeta friend, probably a good idea. Again, in terms of like substitutes, you don't really have many. Like, you could take majority a Reps Universe 7 team, and then have, I said, like an LR AGL Gohan of like one of the other LRs. I don't actually remember what other units were there, but potentially like one of them on the team, and have them as like an isolated rotation as your second rotation. But for the most part, if you do have the LR SSB Vegeta from the year 6 anniversary, he's probably going to be your main guy for this just because he's so good. The only part that worries me about this in like the entirety of the team is this man's right here, and that's SSBK. Like, he's just such a glass cannon that I'm actually quite scared to have him on the team. But you know, who knows? Maybe he'll put in work. Maybe he'll put in work. But I'm not gonna lie, he scares me just because his damage output's decent. It's just his defense is non-existent, and unfortunately, his passive, he needs to be built up in order for him to even be not even good, just somewhat acceptable in terms of, like, you know, damage, like tanking damage. I mean, he does have his active skill, which could be quite useful because that could do big damage if you need it to. But of course, you need to get the conditions on that. Even with that siege, see what I mean? Even with a Whis active, not built up at all, he took 60k on a basic and he's been supered, and this is gonna hurt. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought, but 240k is still a lot of damage to take. But 62k on a basic is ridiculous. He's the only kind of worrying part of the team. Like, I'm happy with Roshi. Like, Roshi's good. He also stuns, which is fantastic. But SSBK Goku is the only part of this team I'm actually generally concerned about. Other than that, we're fine. Like, I generally think the team's good. And I generally think this should be quite a smooth ride in terms of completing this mission. Like, I don't think it'll be overly difficult. And the main reason being is literally purely because of the SSB Vegeta, just because he's so good. Like, literally, I know we have a Whis active still, but like, literally just double digits a super attack. Again, granted, he does have to build up, as I said, his damage reduction like every turn, but I mean, with SBR not being as dangerous as the SBR, it's not really much of an issue, to be fair. And you do have items to kind of cover the kind of weak links of the team, which majorly is literally the only part of the team I'm concerned about is SSBK, and I mean, you do have items to kind of cover that. Other than that, this guy's good just for the sole fact that I've got him rainbowed, and he's also level 10 links, so I mean, the more he additionals, the more he's going to build himself up. I mean, granted, yes, he has type advantage against the 18, so that will do a bit of damage. Roshi's going to be fine because Roshi's sick. Like, he generally, I think he's probably the best free-to-play, like, one of the best free-to-play units in the entire game. I mean, there we go. Bang. Here's where this comes in handy. We don't need to take any unnecessary... The Whis is finished. We don't need to take any unnecessary damage. We don't even need to go through the whole rotation. Just pop his active. Just pop his active, which will do ridiculous amounts of damage. Even if 18 didn't have the small smidget of health she had left, we probably still would have, like, killed her. And what's the final phase? Gohan and Piccolo, right? Yeah, as soon as I saw Gohan, it had to be Gohan and Piccolo. And then we got these two active because of the low health. Like, you can kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You can kind of, like, work the actives into your favor. Obviously, going into the next phase with, like, a lower portion of health and, like, work it so you can pop the active immediately. So obviously you can do that, which people have done for years, like on SBR and ESBR. And you can obviously do that with this team as well with, I think you can do it with Goku's. Obviously you can do it with these twos. I am going to pop an item though, because I don't want to take too much damage. Oh, in orbs perfectly set up for my boy. Gonna give you these. We don't have to worry about orbs for you guys, because you've got your active off. Yeah, for the most part, this category shouldn't be difficult because, I mean, Reps of Universe 7 is probably one of the strongest categories in the game. And if you do have LR Goku and Frieza as well, and obviously if you do have them, you probably have them easy aid, but this doesn't really affect their leader skill. Just take them as the leader instead, which means you have a stronger leader skill, and then just take the Universe 7 units if you have them. If you don't have them, you're going to have to do the mix and match, and if you're kind of going to have Blue Boys. Like, I think this is a team where I don't think you can get away with a substitute with all-out struggle. Like, the category isn't big as it is. And then if you don't have Blue Boys, then I don't think this is doable without them. But if you do have, like no, even then you can't, because if you don't have Blue Boys, you actually don't have the final unit you need to run Reps Universe 7. So yeah, if you don't have blue boys, I don't think you can actually do this category. I mean, you might be able to, but I don't, off the top of my head with how small the category is, I don't think you can. Like, I generally don't think it's possible. But if you do have enough reps universe 7 units, then this should be quite easy for you, like quite easy to do, if I'm being honest. I mean, look at us go right now, like we're literally cleaning house. Like we're literally, this is like incredibly easy. I said the only kind of flight risk on this team is literally SSBK Goku, and then again you have items to kind of cover the fact that he isn't that great defensively, or really not good until he's built up, which even then he's still not the greatest. Which, yeah, I mean, glass cannon is the phrase that comes into mind when I think about SSBK Goku, but for the most part I think as long as you have the reps universe 7 units, this should be quite easy. This should be quite easy to do. Because you've got these two with ridiculous damage, also raises defense on super. You've got Jeets, who's just been, for the most part, I think carrying in my opinion. Blue boys are really good, and of course they're the lead. But for the most part, if you have SSB Vegeta from year 6, he just kind of carries. Great damage reduction, builds up his damage reduction on each phase, which is kind of the only downside, but doesn't seem to be an issue. Tanks really well without it being fully built up, does ridiculous damage, the built-in additionals, the crits. I mean, there you go, we're done. I think this is the quickest I've done one of the stages on. 11 minutes and 30 seconds I've been recording for. So yeah, I mean, if you have the Reps Universe 7 units, I think you should be good. In fact, let me quickly check just to be sure that I'm not being stupid. So, I mean, I think you actually need blue boys. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you actually do need blue boys to run this. Let me check SSB Vegeta's category. What is it? Powerful comeback. Where are you? Where's powerful comeback? This literally, can we please add a search like function on the categories? Like there is a lot now. Yeah, you can't really run this. I mean, yeah, no. What? You telling me you're gonna run like this or something? I don't know about that one. I mean, maybe you can get away with it. Yeah, I kind of think you need the blue boys for the all-out struggle, but for the most part, just run a reps team. If you have the possibility to run a full reps team, do it. I mean, you literally, it's so easy with doing it a reps team. And I think Vegeta for the most part will carry you, and then you've got like Go Frieza just doing dumb damage, and then blue boys is good as well. Roshi can hold his own. That Vegeta will be fine as well. So yeah, I don't think you can actually do this without the blue boys for the actual leader skill, but then you do kind of need them if you're going to run reps, because otherwise you're 1 unit short and you can't actually run reps. But yeah, let me know how you find the new stages down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys, and push!